Hello, friends. Welcome back to another daily story from Marcus English Stories channel. Today, we will travel back in time and learn how a small idea from a young student grew into one of the biggest social networks in the world. This is the simple and inspiring history of Facebook, told in easy English so you can listen, relax, and learn step by step. Once upon a time, in a small room at a big university, a young student had an idea about helping people meet and talk in a new way. He wanted to build a simple website where students could make a profile, add a photo, and find friends. That student and a few friends worked late nights on the project. They built the first page in a dorm room, and they called it a site for students to connect at their school. The site began quietly, with a small number of users, but the idea was pure and clear. Bring people together and make it easier to share small things about life. At first, the site was only for one school, and the people there tried it because it was new and because they were curious. The pages were simple and clean. A photo, a name, a list of friends. That was enough to start small conversations and to help people find each other again. Slowly, the idea moved to other schools. More students wanted to join. The site grew because people wanted to see their friends and meet new people near them. The team that made the site worked on it very hard. They fixed small bugs, they added new features, and they watched how people used the space. Watching was one of the most important jobs. They learned which parts were easy and which parts were confusing. They learned that people like to share small pieces of life, a new photo, a short note, a message to say hello. So they built ways to share those small pieces easily. The site soon left the small colleges and opened to many more people. When anyone could join, the world began to notice. People from different countries with different thoughts and habits began to build small public places on the web. They made friends, found old classmates, and shared little things from each day. The site was no longer just a student tool, it was a new place where many people could meet.
With growth came both chance and challenge. More users meant more ideas about what the site could be. The team added new tools to help people stay in touch. They let people write a short note to everyone they knew. They added a button to say, "I like this," so people could show a small sign of care. They built places to share photos and later to watch short videos. The site became a mirror of life for many people. It showed small moments and big events. People used it to celebrate births and to share news of hard days. Many small stories found a home there, and the site grew into a crowded, loud room where many voices could be heard. Not all changes were easy. Some new tools surprised users and led to questions. When the site began to show a feed of all the small posts from friends, some people loved it, and some people felt it was too much. People wanted control over what they saw and how their posts were shown. The team had to listen and change. They learned that when a product touches people's daily lives, the work must be careful and kind. The team had to think about privacy and about the way people feel when their posts are shared. They learned that trust is not given once. It must be kept every day, with small choices that respect people's wishes. As the years passed, the small idea grew into a large company. Money came from investors who believed in the power of connection. The company hired many people and moved to bigger offices. With more resources, they tried to move faster. They built teams for photos, teams for messages, and teams for safety. The company also looked outward. It bought other small products that helped people share pictures or talk with friends across the world. These choices showed a new lesson. Sometimes the best way to grow is to learn from others and to bring together small works into a single, larger family. Each new product gave people more ways to express themselves. Together, the products formed a wider path for people to travel online.
But growth also showed how powerful a network of people could be. The site began to shape how news moved, how ideas spread, and how groups formed. This power could help and could harm. It could bring people together in times of joy and also in times of fear. The company learned hard lessons when its systems were used for harm or when people felt their personal space was not respected. There were moments when the world asked, who is responsible for what we see online? When private information leaked or when people were misled, many asked the company to explain and to do better. The company listened, changed some rules, and built new tools to protect people. But many of these problems were not simple. They were hard to fix because the web is wide and human behavior is complex. The company had to work with governments, with other companies, and with civil groups to find better ways to protect users and to stop harm. Along the way, the company reached important steps that shaped its future. It opened its doors to independent makers who could build small programs to work with the site. This idea helped create a new economy of small tools that let people do more with their profiles and their pages. The company also faced moments of public attention when people lined up for new features or when the world watched how the site spoke during big events. It became a place where stories could be shared quickly and where many people could see the same message in a short time. That speed brought both joy and worry. It made the company a powerful part of public life, and with power came the need for careful work. Time changed leaders, and the company learned new ways to think. It moved from a small startup house to a larger company that tried to make the web safer and more useful. It built teams to test new ideas about messages, live video, and tools for small businesses to sell their goods. The company saw that small shops could use the site to find customers, and that new creators could find fans. It also saw that people wanted better ways to chat privately, so it bought messaging apps and built stronger systems for private conversation. These moves were part of a larger idea. Make the site a place where people can connect in many ways, both in public and in private, and in simple and richer manners.
The story also carries lessons about responsibility. When a tool touches billions of lives, its makers must think about long-term effects. The company learned to build safety teams, to hire experts to study how people react, and to spend time designing better rules. It had to answer questions about advertising, about political speech, and about how the site shows what is true or false. These are not small questions. They affect elections, public health, and the way people talk to one another. The company had to balance free speech with safety, a job that brought many challenges and hard choices. Some decisions made some people happy and others unhappy. The work required listening, learning, and sometimes admitting mistakes. Even with the hard parts, the company kept moving to make new things. It invested in virtual reality and other future tools to help people feel closer when they were far apart. It worked on better cameras and faster networks so stories could move with clear sound and bright pictures. The company also built systems to help small businesses sell and to help creators earn money for the content they make. It tried to shape a future where tools help people learn, find work, and keep in touch with loved ones. In doing this, it also asked big questions about what it means to be a global platform and how to care for the health of the public space online. For learners of English, the story of this company is more than a timeline of events. It is a story about ideas and about the responsibilities that grow when an idea becomes large. It teaches words about connection, about growth, about trust, and about the need to listen to one another. It shows how a small idea in a dorm room can become a place that touches the daily life of many. It also shows that power must be met with care, and that progress often needs clear rules and quiet work to make things better. The path of the company is full of small steps: launching a new feature, hearing user feedback, fixing a problem, and trying again. Those small steps are the real work behind every visible change. In the end, the story is simple and true. A small idea to help people meet grew into a global place for many kinds of conversations. That growth brought joy and help, but also new challenges. The makers of the platform learned that their work must be guided by care for people, by a desire to do no harm, and by the need to listen to the voices of those who use the space. If you want to build something of your own, take these lessons. Begin with a clear need, test the small steps, listen to users, and be ready to change when the path becomes hard. Work quietly and carefully, and remember that the most lasting creations are those that help people live better and connect more kindly.